how much time do you spend in the climbing gym, like on average a week or
Oh my gosh. I hope my parents don't hear this.
Hello and welcome back to the Get a Student Life podcast, where we talk about all things student life and love telling student stories at Boise State. I'm your host, Molly Ballison, and today I'm here with Kathy Krogh. So thanks for being on the podcast today, Kathy.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
She is an outdoor trip leader, an avid climber, and a sweet friend. So I'm so glad that you're on the podcast today. So our question of the day is, what is your favorite thing about fall?
Ooh, favorite thing about fall. This one's kind of basic. I feel like everyone says this answer, but I really love the clothes that I get to wear in fall. Like I love layering. I love just like warm clothes, and just my summer closet is just like bare bones. But my fall closet is like, it's prime. There's a lot of stuff I can work with through that.
Absolutely. You can do the flannels and the sweaters and the layering of the fall boots and everything.
Exactly. I'm rocking the fall boots today.
Yes, love. So tell us a little bit about your involvement on campus to start us off.
Yeah, totally. I don't know. I just started climbing in the climbing gym one day when I was a freshman, and at the end of the school year, I saw on the app, like Handshake, where everyone gets hired on campus, that they were hiring for trip leaders. And my first reaction was like, I can't do that. Like, I don't know. I'm not qualified for that. I'm not going to apply. And then I was talking to some friends later, and they're like, yeah, that seemed like kind of a cool position. I think I'm going to apply. And so they did, and I was like, all right, fine. I'll get into this. So, yeah, I applied to be a trip leader, and just went through that training, which our training is so fun. It's literally like camping and backpacking and rafting. Awesome. So that was amazing. And then it kind of just snowballed from there. I also got a job working in the outdoor rental center. So I just deal with all that gear all day long, which is kind of cool. I'm learning a lot through that. And then over the summer, I was just approached by some of my bosses, and they're like, hey, like, we need someone to take over the trips manager position, because our current one is graduating. And so there's two typically. So it approached me and my coworker Emma, and so we were like, all right, well, yeah, let's do this. So yeah, it was all just kind of like being in the atmosphere, being in that environment, and then opportunities kind of just were placed in front of me, so I just took them.
Yeah, very cool. So you're already involved in the climbing gym environment, and you mentioned you went on a trip that kind of sparked that desire to be an outdoor trip leader. Can you tell us a little bit about that experience?
Yeah, definitely. I want to say April of last year, again, I was just spending all my time in the climbing gym, and I saw that they had a trip heading out to City Rocks in southern Idaho, and I was like, oh my gosh, I've only climbed outside like one time. I want to do that again. So I signed up for that trip, and just like seeing the way that the trip leaders like interacted with each other, like they were just like really good friends, and they're just like out here like trying to like pass on their love for like climbing in the outdoors to other people that they were bringing out on these trips. And I was like, this is amazing. Like, I really want to do this. Like, I definitely want to be a part of this community. And it was super sweet just seeing like yeah, they had like responsibilities, and like, I don't know, taking people climbing outside, like, you know, there's risks, so you have to like definitely consider all of those and like keep that in the back of your mind. But it was also just like, they're having so much fun, and they're getting paid to be out here in nature and climb, and like, I don't know, I was just like, I want more of this. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Why not like work doing something that you absolutely love and spend most of your time doing anyway? I'm curious, how much time do you spend in the climbing gym, like on average a week or
oh my gosh. I hope my parents don't hear this. They're gonna be like, girl, you need to be doing your homework, not climbing.
It's for work.
yeah, exactly. It's for work. More than I do pretty much anything else. I would say close to like 15, 20 hours a week.
That's so impressive. And you started climbing a year ago, right?
Yeah.
Roughly?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was first time I climbed was outside of McCall with some friends in like August, right after I graduated high school. And then at orientation for Boise State, I just wandered into the climbing gym and climbed there. And I was like, all right, I'm going to come back and do this tomorrow. And then I just said the same thing every day for the next, like...
Every day.
It's still saying the same thing.
Because then you keep getting better and better the more time that you spend in the activity that you love and learning the techniques and all the ins and outs, which is really cool. And I've heard from several friends that are involved like in the climbing gym environment that it's a really like inclusive, welcoming place. Like, what has been your experience of getting more involved in that community?
Yeah. Honestly, I want to say, like, obviously, like, climbing is a huge thing that, like, brings me back to the gym, but, like, even more so, it's the people. Just the more I hung out there and the more I got involved, I just got really close with the staff there. And so, like, that was even more of a motivator to go to the gym. It was like, oh, like, maybe I'll see my favorite staff today. And now they're all my favorite staff.
Oh,
like, I love them all. But, yeah, it was definitely, like, I don't know. I was just this, like, scared little freshman, and someone just, like, waved me in and was like, hey, like, come check it out. Or, like, they were just very inviting. And I still feel that way. Every time I show up, they're like, oh, my gosh, Kathy, you're back. And I'm like, you know I'm going to be back. Like, I'm always here. Yeah. But there's still, like, the energy is still so high just to, like, see each other and be around each other and climb together. Like, I don't know. It's a really beautiful, inclusive environment, and I think that was, like, a huge part for me that kept me going back and climbing was just, like, these people are stoked to see me. They're stoked to see each other, like, and they're just, like, stoked on climbing. And now, I don't know. They're, like, even just yesterday, like, I have days where it's, like, I don't really feel like climbing, but I'll show up to the gym anyways, and I just, like, hang out and I just talk to people. Because it's just like, I don't know, like you said, it's a beautiful environment. It's great. And I think that's something I've found in just the climbing community in general is it's just like climbing at other gyms or climbing outside is just like that willingness to just kind of like walk up to someone and be like, hey, how's it going? What are you climbing today? Like, I don't know. It's something like I've never experienced before. So,
and the times that I've walked in there, I'm just like very beginner, and I've always felt like welcomed and people like helping or cheering you on, and that's sweet that it took somebody welcoming you in to feel comfortable, and now you get to be that for other people that walk in and get to be their hype person, and cheering them on.
Because it's intimidating. If there's not that one person that's like, hey, come check it out.
Absolutely,
it's easy to not. So,
and I've never climbed outside, so that's really cool that you jumped right into that. And so the City of Rocks trip, would you say that was your favorite trip, or is there another favorite outdoor trip that you have been on?
Wow, that's so tough.
Different from like your, like, do you have a trip that is your favorite that you've been on before being a trip leader, and then one that's your favorite now being a trip leader?
Okay, or that's a good one. Well, that was the only trip I did before I was a trip leader with City Rocks. And I remember, like, in that, like, when I was there at City Rocks, even after, I was like, this has been, like, my, like, the best weekend of my whole school year. Like, I was just, like,
that's awesome.
Had so much fun there. But, yeah, I've had some really incredible opportunities since. Just, like, the outdoor programs, like, gotten me into so many activities I'd never done before. So I spent a week rafting the Lower Salmon this summer, and that was amazing. Like, it was incredible. It was a hectic, wild experience, but it was so cool. And then also just probably backpacking in the Sawtooths for a week. That was also amazing. Like, I don't know. Just anytime I'm outside for, like, more of an extended amount of time, it just, like, puts so many things in perspective and clears my head and makes me so grateful. And so I've realized, like, some of my favorite trips are the, like, extended ones. And, yeah, I don't know. I love rafting and backpacking. So
had you been on a rafting trip before the raft guide training for the outdoor program?
A handful, just like a couple day trips here and there throughout my life, but nothing major. And so I never really knew what was going on. I was just kind of like floating. I knew the rapids were kind of fun, but other than that, I was just like, yeah, this is cool.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so at guide school, I kind of like really got to appreciate like how we're maneuvering through the river and like what's going on in and outside of the boat. It just kind of like tuned me into all those specifics that I didn't like see or appreciate before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And backpacking in Sawtooth, that's something that's on my bucket list. That's really cool that you've done that. And is that a trip that the outdoor program does regularly? Do they do their most of their trips several times?
Yeah, definitely. I know we had sadly backpacking season's like ending like right now, like same with climbing season outside, everything, but yeah, I know we have quite a few trips. Our kind of like go-to spot in the Sawtooth is Alice Lake. That's a pretty popular one because it's a pretty easy like backpack in, spend the night, backpack out the next day, and it's gorgeous out there. We don't really have any like extended backpacking trips in the Sawtooth, to my knowledge. We have an extended backpacking trip through the Grand Canyon, so that's really cool. But yeah, we have a lot of like weekend trips to the Sawtooths. So
very cool. And where can students find out about these trips and sign up for them?
Yeah, it's on the Rex, just like, what is it called?
Their website?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, on the Rex website, you just look up like outdoor program or trips, and it should pop up right there. But we definitely want to make it more like accessible to people and just like make it more aware. Because it seems like a lot of people that are more aware of our trips are people that like go to the rec. So we're trying to like get our posters up all over with like QR codes and stuff like that. But yeah, the best place to sign up is probably online. You can also come into the Outdoor Rental Center and just chat with us in person, which is also kind of nice because honestly, most of the time you end up like meeting your trip leader right there because a lot of us work in the rental center too.
Got you.
So yeah, either in person or online.
Yeah. And how should students like prepare for an outdoor trip, and what do they need to know before jumping into it?
Yeah. Typically before the trip, one of your trip leaders is going to send out an email that has like a lot of the information you need to like kind of prepare for the trip. And then we tend to do pre-trip meeting as well. But yeah, just getting ready for it is like keeping an eye on your email. When we do send out that email, it's going to have like your packing list, your itinerary, all of your trip leaders' information. And so basically, like if you need any kind of clarity or anything like that, like you can reach out to the trip leaders as well. But yeah, and then same with pre-trip meeting is it's kind of like we all just meet up together. We kind of go over things like what we want to eat for dinner, kind of where we want to be hiking around, what we want to get out of the trip, because honestly these trips are for the students, so it's and the participants, like if they don't feel like hiking a whole bunch when we're going camping, we can find a hot springs instead and we can go hang out at the hot springs. So it's kind of like it's their trip, so we would just want them to communicate with us beforehand what they want to get out of it.
And tailored to the group of participants so they get to do things that they are looking forward to. Yeah, that's really cool that the outdoor program is so accommodating for that and making it for the students and helping them like learn skills. So what are some skills that you've learned since being a trip leader and having to go on all these trips?
Oh my goodness, I've learned so much. I don't know, just something that I've become more aware of, more so than that I've learned, is just like leading by example. Is like people are kind of like people are always kind of watching. Like you're on their radar. I mean, people are on my radar as well. Like I'm watching as well. But just like leading by example is huge. But also being clear with people. I don't know. I've learned so much about the gear that we're using that I just didn't know anything about before. I mean, I've learned how to guide a raft. I've learned how to lead climb and build anchors outside. What else do I do? Just how to pack a backpack when I'm going backpacking. I had no idea how to do that before. Yeah, so much. And honestly, like, it's helped me a lot with, like, communication skills, just, like, and, like, conflict management has been a huge thing, too. Yeah, honestly, it's just, like, it hits on, like, so many different factors of my life that's, like, not even just, like, outdoor specific. But, yeah, another one is just, like, risk management, like, being outside in the backcountry or just, you know, outside in general. Like, there's a lot of things that could go wrong. Right. And just, like, being aware of that and, like, making those slight adjustments to avoid those things and just, like, making sure everyone's safe and having a good time the whole time, or as much as possible. But yeah, I don't know, it's shifted my thinking in a lot of ways. So
you're thinking of, like, when you're outdoors, of how to do things.
Yeah, definitely. And just, like, having a much bigger respect for nature and just, like, all that it does for us and just, like, how powerful it is. Like, I don't know, like, again, like, being outside, like, especially in, like, I don't know, say, like, winter, like, it's powerful. Like, the mother nature doesn't really care about you. Like, she doesn't even recognize you're out there. Like, you gotta have to just be aware of, like, all of these factors that could be, like, harmful to you and just, like, taking care of nature and making sure it's still in as best shape as possible for future generations that want to get outside. Like, whenever I'm in the backcountry or I'm camping or anything, it's just like, you know, I'm keeping this spot nice so that I can bring my kids here one day. Like, it's not just for me, it's for other people to enjoy. It's for my kids and to enjoy and their friends when they're out there camping one day. So
yeah, that's a really cool perspective of how your actions affect the long term.
Totally.
Like, where you're going on these trips. Are there any additional skills that students will learn by being participants in this trip that are maybe different from what you're learning? Or?
Yeah, definitely. Again, like, a big part of these trips is we want to, like, involve the students as much as they can in it. And a lot of the time, like, that means, like, because we do get a good amount of participants that have, like, never gone camping before. They've never gone backpacking. They've never gone climbing. And, like, that's gold. Like, that is so amazing because, like, we are the first ones to introduce them to this. We're laying the foundation. And so it's like, again, we're going to, like, instill those things of, like, respect nature, you know, leave it better than you found it. But, like, on our trips, a lot of it is, like, we want to set people up so that they can go on their own trips. So it's like when we're out there cooking, like, we're all going to be cooking together. I'm going to teach you how to use the stove so that you can use a stove on a personal trip later. Or I'm going to show you how we do dishes so that you can do dishes later and, like, on your own trip. And you just have an idea of how to store things and how to pack a trailer when you're, like, getting ready to go out on a rafting trip or whatever. So it's a lot of those things where it's like, we just want to get people outside. So if we can, like, give them some of those skills to, like, figure out their own trips and have, like, a little bit of a foundation, we always try to involve them. So whenever I go on a trip, like, beforehand, I'm like, okay, like, yes, like, I'm technically your guide, but I'm also just out here camping with you. So, like, let's do this together. Let's cook together. Let's set up camp together. Let's clean together. Like, let me show you what I was shown so that you can show other people.
The leading by example. And then that's important for participants to build their confidence to go out into the outdoors, like, by themselves or with a smaller group of people. Be like, I know how to camp and how to cook outdoors and pack a backpack and all those things that they can carry with them like for the rest of their life.
Exactly.
And seeing their trip leader being confident in how to approach maybe like risky situations also gives them the knowledge of how to be safe when they're in an outdoor environment by themselves. So yeah, really important skills.
Definitely.
What would be your best advice to students wanting to go on a trip, or maybe someone that has never gone on an outdoor trip?
That's a good one. That's a good question. I think probably just like grab a friend and sign up. Like pick something neither of you have ever done before, or pick something that you've both done before and you want to get better at, or you want more experience in that area. But I don't know. I think it's awesome to do that with a friend. I think it can just like make you more comfortable, make you more confident, make you want to get out there more. But if you don't, like, do it alone, man. Like my first trip I signed up for by myself, like I met so many people out there. Like if grabbing a friend is going to make you more inclined to do it, then totally do it. Like it's so fun experiencing like nature out there with people that you just love and you love being around. But I don't know, do it alone too. Like don't let that hold you back. I would say, is if you don't have anyone to do it with. And it's a really good spot to meet people. Yeah. So like if you sign up alone and you show up alone, you're gonna leave with 4 new friends or 10 new friends, however many people are on that trip, you know. So yeah, I would say just if it's gonna make you more comfortable, sign up with a buddy. But I don't know. Just I don't know. I would also say just like make yourself like push yourself so far out of your comfort zone. Again, like do it if you've never done it before. Like if you ever had the like, I've always kind of wanted to go kayaking, and we're offering like sometimes we do like a intro to whitewater kayaking, stuff like that. Just like show up. We're gonna keep you safe. We're gonna make sure you have the best time we can possibly offer you. So just like try those new things, because there's such a good chance that you'll end up falling in love with it. And if not, like move on, try something else.
Yeah, but you can at least say that you tried.
But yeah,
and that's a good point, that it's a great place to meet other people, and you're not just sitting down and talking to them. You're experiencing new things with them, or even if they have already experienced a trip like backpacking or camping or something, you're still getting to have this really cool experience and create memories, which you can even learn more about a person sometimes, of like just creating memories and shared experiences than just sitting down and talking to them. So that's a really cool, and it's also really cool that you've found so many of your friends through the outdoor program and the climbing gym and all of that. It's really encouraging that students don't have to have any experience to be in the outdoors, and it's okay to just sign up, like put yourself outside of your comfort zone and just do it. So that's really good advice. Do students have to have their own gear to be able to go on the trips?
No, definitely not. We have pretty much all the gear. I mean, most of the time when I get this question is, again, like we send out a packing list. And so it's like, if you have what's on the packing list, you know, bring it. But most of the time I'm just like, you know, bring your clothes and show up and we'll take care of the rest. Like,
That's awesome.
You know, bring your toothbrush, bring a change of clothes, you know, maybe some deodorant if you want that.
Not necessary.
Not totally necessary, especially if you're in the backcountry for days. Then it's just
What
like
does it
extra
matter?
weight. But yeah, sorry. No, we provide pretty much everything. And especially like, even if there's something on the packing list where it's like, okay, like you should bring a fleece and you don't have a fleece, like we probably have extra clothes we can get you. And same with like shoes. Like when I went on that backpacking trip, I didn't have any hiking shoes or hiking boots. And so it was like our manager's wife or someone gave me like a pair of shoes to borrow for the week.
That's so kind.
Yeah. So it's like even things like that, like if you don't have it, we got you. But other than that, like all the gear is taken care of. Like we have backpacks for backpacking. We have harnesses and shoes for climbing. Yeah, you kind of just need to show up, bring whatever you want for the weekend or the day, and we'll take care of the rest.
Yeah, so it basically sounds like there's no excuse to not go on an outdoor trip, is what I'm hearing.
Pretty much, yeah.
The outdoor program has got you covered on all the bases to show up, basically.
Oh, yeah.
And so so it sounds like you do a lot of recreational activities. What are your favorite outdoor activities?
Okay.
Or does it go seasonally, or do you have a top favorite? Is it climbing?
That's so tough. Yeah, I would say it's like a seasonal thing. I would say probably. Oh, this is tough. This is so tough. Probably like backpacking in the fall or climbing. Climbing outside's kind of like a fall thing, but also it could be in the spring. Let's go with backpacking in the fall. And shoot, this is hard. Let's go snowboarding in the winter.
All right. Does the outdoor program do snowboarding trips too? Like to Bogus?
Yeah. Cool. We have trips that go up to Bogus like every week. And we try to make sure it's on a different day, so it's not like every Wednesday and you're like, oh, I have something every Wednesday. So we try to make sure it's like a Tuesday and a Monday and Thursday. Yeah, just like all across the board. But yeah, probably snowboarding. And then climbing in the spring and definitely rafting in the summer. Oh, just being on the river is so amazing. I don't know. It has my heart. I just think of it all the time. I can't wait to get back on the river.
Yeah. What was one of your like favorite memories from a favorite trip that you've been on? Like if it was rafting or climbing?
Ooh. Okay. The first one that comes to mind is when we were on the Lower Salmon. It was our last night on the river, second to last, something like that. We'd been out there for a while, so we're like all slightly like sleep deprived and delusional and stinky and just like all like really kind of like coming out of our shells after spending that much time together. You get to like really see people's personalities. And we were on this like really gorgeous beach and the sun was setting and we're all just like sitting in a circle talking about like I think it was like our top 3 comfort movies, something like that. And we had like a pretty big group, so we were having this conversation for like an hour, 2 hours of just movies, and it was so good. Like just because everyone's comfort movie is kind of, it has some like kind of memory tied to it or something. So you get to know like parts of their past and stuff about them just from those things. So it was just like, and then I'm making a mental list of like I gotta watch that movie. Like I don't have service, I can't write it down, so I'm just trying to remember. But it was really sweet just sitting there and just having that conversation of like just there. I don't know, that's always my favorite part is the conversations. Just no phones, no distractions. It's just like you,
very real.
Yeah, it's you and them, and it's very real and it's very raw. So I loved that, just chatting about movies.
That's so sweet. What do you think is the coolest place that you've ever been to?
Ooh, I'm like trying to decide if I should say it on here because of like if I say it then everyone's gonna be like, wait a minute, I want to check that out.
Oh, gotcha.
I'll say my second favorite just so I can keep that one less busy and crowded.
Understandable.
I guess I already said this one then. Alice Lake in the Sawtooth. It's amazing. There's like when I first like was backpacking into there's just these like a bunch of like smaller little pools, like lakes, like leading up to the lake that you're just hiking along.
Cool.
And they have these little tiny like waterfalls flowing into each other.
Oh, pretty.
And there's this like, it literally looks like a tooth, like a big like shark tooth. And so I was like setting up camp there and the sun is like setting and the tooth is it's like glowing orange. And I turned to my friend and I was like, is that the tooth? Like, is this the sawtooth? Is this the sawtooth? I was like, and they're like, oh no. And they told me the name of that mountain and I was like, oh well, they should rename it. That is the sawtooth. But yeah, it was just amazing. There's just these like huge boulders all around the lake. And honestly, you end up sleeping on like a lot of like boulders when you're out there, because
where else are you gonna sleep?
not a lot of like flatter like dirt areas. So yeah, I just ended up sleeping like kind of like crooked, like rolling off my sleeping pad on a rock.
Was there the risk of rolling into one of those lakes, or were you far enough removed?
We were far enough removed. But, like, it was kind of like one of those, like, if you're a sleepwalker, you could easily sleepwalk into the lake kind of situations. But luckily I don't do that.
Risk management.
Yeah, exactly. But just those alpine lakes are crazy, and the water is like crystal clear. And I just remember like swimming in one of those lakes, and I like got out, and I was just looking at it because I was blown away, and I just see this like, I don't know, fish, but it had a lot of colors, so I'm gonna call it a rainbow trout.
All right.
I saw this fish swimming by, and it was just like so clear. It was just like looked like I was looking at it through like a fish tank or something.
Cool.
And you could just see like all the way to the bottom of these lakes. It's so gorgeous. And yeah, I don't know. I think about that so often.
Yeah, I would too. That sounds beautiful. I'd love to go there. And so it's great that there's so many resources that Boise State has for you to be able to go on those trips and see those new places. How do you plan on continuing to fulfill this love of the outdoors after you've graduated and aren't necessarily in the outdoor programs anymore?
That's a scary thought.
Oh,
it's so sad. But yeah, I don't know. Definitely, I want to continue putting myself in these environments where I'm going to meet other people that have the same passion.
Totally.
I think that's like my first like crucial part of, is like I'm going to keep climbing at the gyms around Boise, and just like getting to know people that way, because there are a lot of just environments like that where you can meet people with similar hobbies and interests. And so making sure I keep putting myself in that environment, definitely. And then, I mean, this job has just set me up so well. Like, I'm just so lucky. They've shown me like how to create meals that you can eat in the backcountry, and like how to do those food buys, like where you can find more shelf-stable things if you're going backpacking, instead of like things that need refrigerated, or just planning ahead of just, I don't know. Sorry, I'm like losing my train of thought.
All good.
But also like what gear. I've gotten a lot of experience like using the gear that we have at the outdoor program, so I can decide like, hey, I want to buy something like that for myself, or I want to try out a different thing that my friend uses. And just like all these cool spots too. They've shown me a lot of cool spots around Idaho. Yeah, just so many experiences that I've just been able to learn through work that I would not have otherwise, that I'm going to take with me. Again, like I didn't know how to cook outside before. So yeah, that is a sad thought. I just like not being at the outdoor program. I'm going to keep showing up. I'll tell you that much. Like, we have a lot of people that used to work at the outdoor program that come back and just pop in and say hi, or they rent something. Like, I'm definitely going to be that person.
Yeah. And you've learned so many skills in just a short amount of time of working there that you can carry with you. It's a really special thing that the outdoor program has equipped you with so many skills that you can keep using and carry with you in the future, and that they just allow students to have new experiences and meet people. And so, students, if you're listening, don't be afraid to sign up for an outdoor trip, even if you have no experience or don't know anybody, because it will be a memorable experience. And check out the Student Life blog. We have some articles about the outdoor programs, and I didn't know that about outdoor trips, where we talk about more information that we discussed today. And if you like this episode, go ahead and share it with a friend, maybe a friend that you want to go on an outdoor trip with. And if you have a cool story or perspective to share with us, reach out to Student Life via our website or our email, studentlife@boisestate.edu. And thank you to Albertsons Library for letting us record in the sound studio today. So thanks for listening, and we'll catch you in the next episode. Go get outside.